Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I created this little gem right here. This is so sparkly and this tumbler turned out so smooth and shiny, and I absolutely love how it turned out. The first thing that we're starting off with is a 30-ounce tumbler. I will list the website from where the tumbler was purchased in the description box below if you want to check that out. And it was already this color when I received the tumbler. They are calling this a magenta, but to me it sort of has more of a purple undertone than a magenta or pink undertone. But nonetheless, I have this coveted florals pack that I purchased from Flynn Sister Supply Shop, and I am just going through and trying to decide which patterned vinyl would look best on this tumbler. Because what I'm going to do is just a simple rectangular shape with the vinyl, and then we are going to be using a little bit of glitter, a decal, and some vinyl striping, and of course epoxy. And that's pretty much it. This is going to be a very good tutorial for a beginner because there's not a lot of steps, there's not a lot of detail, and easy tumbler for a beginner. So I think I have decided on this vinyl pattern right here, the white background, and the name of this particular vinyl sheet was Courage. So there was also a decal that said Find Your Courage that came with the vinyl pack. So I decided to use that decal with this vinyl sheet. So first of all, we're just going to trim off all this excess white on the vinyl sheet so that we can get that placed on our tumbler. Again, I decided to go with just a simple rectangular shape for the vinyl, and it's only going to cover about 3/4 of the tumbler. And in the vacant space on the tumbler, that's where we're going to put our decal. So, like I said, the tumbler came already this color, so there's no sanding or painting required. We're going to go straight in with our vinyl. Now, you can do any sort of shape that you like with the vinyl. You can make a heart shape, or you can do a V shape, or a zebra pattern if you wish, or, whatever, however you want to do this. You can take what I have done and place your own spin on it and create something completely unique. Or you can follow these steps and create something just like this. So I'm just going to trim up the decal a little bit. These vinyl decals, they do have clear backing. So where the words and the print are not located, that is all clear. And once it's under epoxy, you will not even be able to see it. But I'm just trimming it up a little bit to get a little bit closer to the pattern. And we're going to put this on a little later. Now, also, I'm going to cut some strips out of this vinyl to put at the bottom portion of the tumbler. And again, this is a step. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to, or if you want to create a different sort of pattern towards the bottom, you can totally just take it and run with it. But this is how this tumbler was created and the steps that I took to make this tumbler. So I'm just going to tape this decal to sort of get my placement down with the vinyl to make sure that I have cut it accordingly. What you will want to do is, before you cut your patterned vinyl, you'll want to measure your tumbler. You'll want to measure from the top to wherever you want the vinyl to end. And you'll want to measure the circumference of your tumbler so that you can get the correct size for your vinyl. Now, I will tell you, this vinyl is a very good quality vinyl. I had to lift it and remove it multiple times to get it to go on the tumbler straight. I was so frustrated. But the reason is because I didn't take into account that even though the tumbler is round at the top, it also sort of tapers a little bit. And you can see sort of how the tumbler is laying right now. You can sort of see how it tapers in. And I didn't take that into consideration when I took my measurements. And so I didn't add the necessary dimensions for the tapered tumbler. I was just thinking the top was round and it tapered at the bottom. I wasn't thinking about it also tapers at the top. So when you're measuring for your tumblers, keep that in mind. I know Creative Fabrica and probably some other websites out there have templates for tapered and straight tumblers, and you could use something like that to then cut your vinyl with. But I didn't think about that, and so it really was a frustrating ordeal for me. But again, if you just take that into consideration before you cut your vinyl, you should be fine. Now, once you have your vinyl on the tumbler, you can go ahead and I did not seal this vinyl because it was such a large piece of vinyl. But if you feel like you want to or need to seal your vinyl, by all means, go ahead and place a sealer on top, and then you're ready to go in with your epoxy. Now, I wanted a thin layer of epoxy for my first coat, so I believe I only used about 20 to 25 milliliters. And I did put some glitter in with my epoxy. Now, at first, I felt like it was a little more glitter than I had initially wanted. But once it had cured, I absolutely love it. This glitter is so sparkly and so just so shiny that I thought it really made the tumbler just stand out. I mean, these florals with the glitter, it was just I was really pleased with how it turned out. And this is the tumbler with the vinyl strips at the bottom. I didn't show the recording of me placing these on the tumbler because most of the way through I was off camera and you couldn't really see the bottom part anyway. So I didn't film or didn't show you guys the film of that. But basically I just used my paper trimmer and cut, I think about like 1/4 of an inch strips. And glitter that we are using in our epoxy is called Diamonds by the Glitter Grind. It is so shiny and sparkly. I just absolutely love it. Now, the epoxy I used was Artist Cure epoxy by Flynn Sisters Supply Shop. It is not a fast setting epoxy, so once that cured, I went ahead. I felt like the strips needed just something a little extra, and I went ahead and cut some strips out of this transparent leopard print vinyl and just placed that on top of the strips at the bottom of the tumbler. And you can see here also I cut a circle out and placed that on the very bottom of the tumbler as well. Now, If your epoxy did not cure smoothly, or you have pokey bits from the glitter, or you have any rough spots or whatever, go ahead, sand that tumbler down and place another coat of epoxy before adding your second layer of vinyl, and definitely before adding your decal. Because if you do not have a smooth surface for your decal, you will be able to see the sand marks underneath it. So, fortunately for me, it was smooth after one coat and I did not have to do anything extra. So, I was able to go ahead and add the vinyl, the leopard print vinyl, and now I'm adding my decal. Now, once I added the decal and the second layer of vinyl, we're going to also add some striping. This is like a holographic with a purple undertone type of striping, and I'm just placing it at the sides and the top and the bottom of my rectangular vinyl piece. And then we're also going to place a thin strip at the very bottom of the tumbler. Once that has been completed, seal the vinyl, and then you're ready for another coat of epoxy. Now, I did place another 25 milliliters of epoxy on the tumbler. Once that was cured, I went ahead and sanded down the top rim of my tumbler, exposing a thin line of stainless steel in order for the final coat of epoxy to have something to really adhere to. So we also just lightly sanded the very bottom of the tumbler around where we had placed the vinyl striping, just to sort of smooth that out a little bit. And again, I sort of felt like the vinyl needed a little something. So I just simply cut out 3 rainbow type shapes from the transparent leopard print vinyl and placed those in the rectangular vinyl area in sort of a wave type pattern. And then it was ready for our final coat of epoxy. And that is it. So, just to recap briefly, the tumbler was already painted for us. We just simply placed some vinyl on the tumbler, epoxy and glitter, another layer of vinyl, a decal, another layer of epoxy, some striping, and then your sanding and final layer of epoxy. So, very simple, very easy for beginners, and yet still looks, very, in my opinion, professional and very put together and just super cute and fun. And again, I just love the shine of that glitter. It is so sparkly. It truly looks like diamonds. So good job to the glitter grind on that. It's probably my favorite glitter. So with that being said, I hope everyone has enjoyed the video. I hope you have learned something and possibly been inspired to create your own one-of-a-kind tumbler. Check your stash for what you have and get to creating. I thank everyone for watching my videos. It just truly means so much that you take the time to tune in. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. And I hope everyone has a very blessed day.